In this video, let's take an overview look at the Chiefs and their current health as they get ready for the AFC Championship game, including players like Mecole Hardman, Jody Fortson, Patrick Mahomes, and his ankle, and take an in-depth look at some encouraging footage from today regarding Patrick Mahomes and his ankle and see how it's doing. But first, how about those? All right, let's get into this video, starting with a few newsworthy notes from today's press conference. Coach Reid spoke on several things and mentioned that Mecole Hardman feels better this week than he did the last couple of weeks, and it seems that backing off the pelvic injury has worked and seems to be in a good place. I don't know if it's his pelvis or Mecole in general seems to be in a good place, one of those. But of course, coach then said, we will have to see how he does every day here, AKA, we're going to take things day by day, AKA, nobody has any idea what that's actually supposed to mean. However, Braden Turner from the Ain't No Seat podcast and also with KCSN tweeted this out earlier today. He said, from talking to someone close to Mecole, he will be ready to go Sunday night against the Bengals. And after following up with him, I can confirm that it was somebody pretty close to Mecole that said this, and although the person that said this is not an official source, between Coach Reid's optimism about him in his presser and also the tweet by Braden Turner, I'm leaning towards Mecole playing on Sunday, or at least am remaining optimistically hopeful about it. And Mecole is not the only one that may be returning in this game, by the way, because Coach Reid then said there's a chance that either CEH or Jody Fortson could come off of IR this week, but indicated that it's more than likely we will see Fortson back before we see Clyde. And Fortson was seen at practice as well as Mecole, but Fortson was wearing this big ol' elbow brace today at practice. But if he returns, that's good news from a red zone perspective, which is one of the main ways they use Fortson for most of the season, off and on, a good target for Mahomes, rather tall individual. Other players we will also have back in this game that we did not have last game are left guard Joe Thuney, who was out due to an ankle injury in Week 13's matchup, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who was dealing with that re-aggravated hamstring, Mecole Hardman, we've already talked about him, but fingers crossed for his return, as well as cornerback Jalen Watson, who was dealing with a hand injury at the time, and Joshua Williams played in his stead. So this time, you're going to have back a healthy Jalen Watson in the secondary, as well as Kadarius Toney, Joe Thuney, and possibly, hopefully, Mecole Hardman and Jody Fortson on offense. I will say that if Mecole returns, this is going to be very helpful for the offense. I mean, just think about the plays they could run. You have Mahomes in the gun, McKinnon directly behind him, Toney to his right, Mecole on his left, all on the backfield. And as a defense, when you see that, what the heck are you supposed to do? Any of those players are extremely dangerous with the ball in their hands, and we've never had a fully prepared and fully healthy Kadarius Toney and Mecole together in a game. I think they did play together in a game or two when Toney first got here, but again, Toney was brand new and didn't really know the playbook, so you could not fully utilize both of them. Anyway, you'll also have jet sweeps, bubble screens, counters, and all kinds of other things at their disposal, and this will definitely help make up for Mahomes being limited mobility-wise. And speaking of Mahomes, I know the big topic of concern is his ankle, so we are going to get into some presser clips about his ankle, as well as get a look at how he's walking and warming up at today's practice in a moment. But first, I've got to celebrate the fact that the divisional round has come and gone, which means it's time for Kansas City to lock in and get this W as they host their first, second, third, fourth, fifth AFC Championship game in a row. And if that's not enough to get your blood pumping, today's video is sponsored by DraftKings, and they are giving all new customers a winning offer. All you have to do is sign up using my promo code HBTC, bet at least $5 on your favorite team. Maybe it's a team from Kansas City, or just bet on any NFL playoff game and you'll instantly receive an additional $200 in bonus bets. That's right. Any new customers just need to bet $5 on any NFL playoffs game of your choosing and you'll instantly get $200 in bonus bets deposited straight into your account. And you may be wondering, what could I use $200 in bonus bets on? Well, you could try out same game parlays where you can combine multiple bets from one game, like which team will win and by how much, for a shot at even bigger winnings. If mobile sports betting is not yet available in your state, do not worry, please. Have no fear, you can still get in on the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So why don't you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app NOW. New customers use promo code HBTC, bet $5 on a playoff game and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code HBTC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. And I know gambling addiction is a real thing, so make sure to take a look at this information and please reach out if you need help. All right, Mahomes ankle watch for Wednesday, January 25th. You ready? Here we go. First, Mahomes spoke to the media today as well and answered about 15 different questions about his ankle, and Coach Reid spoke on it as well in as much of a cryptically limited way that he normally does. And here's what they had to say.
There are no injuries to talk about. Everybody's going to practice today. So he'll practice. He did the walkthrough this morning, and he'll practice this afternoon. But, I think he'll do probably everything. But we'll see. He'll do fine. It's just a matter of making sure that he's safe safe as you can be out there on the football field. But I might have to pull him back a little bit, but knowing him, I think he's going to try to do everything, and we'll just see how he does.
I felt better than I thought I was going to be after the game. Moving on it during the game definitely hurt. After the game, I was able to rest it and kind of ice it up and do different stuff like that. I felt in a little bit better position, and obviously the next morning felt a little bit better, and I've continued to get better throughout the week. I was able to do some extra testing just to make sure everything was good, not after the game, and then get a few things done to help the treatment kind of start off. And then the next few days has just kind of been, all-day thing where you're just doing either treatment or rehab or watching film. I've done limited stuff kind of in a small kind of box of what I can do, but I'll push it a little bit today and then the next day and then the next day again and see what I can do that not re-aggravate the injury, obviously, but to push it to see what I'll be able to do on Sunday.
So there you have it. Mahomes has been working as hard as he can and trying his best with around-the-clock care to get his ankle better, saying it's feeling better than expected, and he's excited to test the limits of the ankle this week at practice. He was also asked about how this ankle sprain that he just got last week compared to the one he sustained on his other ankle back in 2019 against the same exact freaking team, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, it's very similar, just a different ankle, especially when you're different ankles at the quarterback position, you're planting and throwing off different stuff. So the last one, it was the leg that I landed on, so I had to find ways to throw where I could land and keep it in the right spot, and this time I'll have to find ways to be able to push off and be able to still make the throws the right way. So definitely similar in a sense, but obviously different limitations and stuff that I'll have to work through.
So yeah, this current ankle sprain is his plant leg and will definitely make things different for him as he works through those limitations. I personally will be curious to see how that affects him throwing deep and his ability to turn quickly from the left to the right as he goes through his reads, among other things. But we will have to simply wait and see how that goes. Something we will not have to wait for, however, is footage on how Mahomes is currently walking and moving as of today. We're about to overanalyze a few clips here, but first, the injury report just dropped, and here's how it looks for both teams. For the Bengals, you have their guard, Alex Kappa, defensive tackle, DJ Reader, and offensive tackle, Jonah Williams. None of them participated. DJ Reader was a rest, Alex Kappa ankle, Jonah Williams knee. Then you had linebacker Joe something, Backy, foot limited. Trey Flowers, their cornerback, hamstring limited. Sam Hubbard, defensive end, who took that fumble for like 98 yards against the Ravens. He was resting, limited. And then you have center Ted Karras, knee, fully participated. So yeah, it's worth noting that two people on here, Alex Kappa and Jonah Williams, starting linemen for the Bengals, did not participate today in practice. And then for the Chiefs, you have Mecole Hardman, who was limited. Then everybody else fully participated. Yes, including Patrick Mahomes. Willie Gay Jr., toe, fully participated. Patrick Mahomes, ankle, fully participated. And running back Jerick McKinnon, ankle, fully participated. Willie Gay toe and Jerick McKinnon with his ankle. Those are new to me, but they fully participated, so let's freaking go. Pretty crazy that Mahomes also fully participated as well. And with that being said, here's some of the clips of Patrick Mahomes on this ankle watch. So here's a clip of him walking to the podium. Yeah, you can just see he's just walking kind of normal, okay? Wow, nice. And then here's one of him leaving, stepping down. And dude, he appears to walk just fine. Obviously, this is just walking. This is not playing in an NFL game. But dude, some were speculating he was going to be in a boot. Some were speculating he was going to be on crutches, possibly not participating at practice. Chad Henne was going to be getting the reps. And here you have him walking, no boot, just walking, chilling with that ankle. He actually might have a little bit of a brace on it if I'm looking close enough, but he walks down the steps just fine. And then here's a couple clips of him at practice. So let's look at these. Here you go. And at practice, you'll immediately notice both of his feet are taped. And I'm not a doctor and expert, but I believe you tape them both to help with overcompensating on the other one to prevent from aggravating that ankle as well. So he's going to have both of them wrapped. I don't know if it's going to be like that in the game, but they are here. And he's just stretching, warming up. At first, I started watching his left leg, but then I realized that's his old injury. It's going to be his right leg. So you look when he's favoring that right leg. And yeah, you're going to notice Mahomes isn't doing these stretches like the rest of these guys are. The leg lifts, like all the stretching. Mahomes is not going as deep as any of these other guys on basically any of these stretches. You do see Mahomes is able to skip on both, and then he jogs off, and there he goes. Now, one thing you'll notice is Mahomes is actually jogging off when these guys start doing lateral movements side to side. Mahomes is not doing any of that, and that's probably really going to hurt the ankle. We may see limitation of that in the actual game. But for now, there you have it. He fully participated, and the fact that he was able to fully participate, walk around, and even move like this at practice is pretty incredible, and we've got to give a lot of credit to his trainer, Bobby Stroup, because he's basically a freaking magician. Stroup spent dozens and dozens and dozens of hours with Mahomes using very unique exercises that stimulate real in-game movements, among other way too smart for me techniques to prepare him for the game, and it's definitely paid off. We've seen it time and time again, and although Mahomes hasn't yet been doing any lateral movements, as I was just talking about, this is definitely a step in the right direction, all things considered. I mean, he could be in a freaking walking boot and not participating at all in practice, so this is definitely a positive sign. Are you guys encouraged by Mahomes' progress like I am, as well as the hopeful return of key offensive players like wide receiver Mecole Hardman, first and foremost, but also tight end Jody Fortson? Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?